All right, I just want to do a little video here because I bought this part, which is, it's called a shifter saver or a shift saver or something. And what this does is it fills the gap between your shift lever and the crankcase. The gap between the crankcase and your shift lever, what happens is that if you drop your bike and this hits the ground first, not only is that going to bend, but this will force your shifter shaft to also bend that way. What a lot of people do is they put something to fill that gap, such as a stack of washers or perhaps some kind of pipe that's the same size as this. But I wanted to give this a try, and this came from high voltage or something in Thailand. Honestly, I don't know if it's worth the money, but I wanted to give it a try anyway, just for the heck of it. And I was always wondering, what was this notch for? And then they also give a warning on their webpage that it's very difficult to install this thing. So first, I'm going to say that when you install your shift lever, because the OEM one has the retaining, wrong bolt, has the retaining bolt go on top, you cannot remove it because, by the way, you have to remove it completely. You have to remove the bolt completely in order for you to remove the shift lever. The bolt doesn't just pinch the shift lever to grab onto the spline of the shifter shaft. What the bolt does also is it goes between the groove like that. It goes in between the groove to stop the shift lever from ever popping out. So not only does it go down here to pinch the shift lever, but it also falls in that groove. It goes in from the top because the threads are on the bottom. Right there. The threads are on the bottom. So it has to go on the top. So the only way for you to remove that is to remove the sprocket cover, the front sprocket cover. So those two 8mm bolts, after you remove that, only then can you remove this 10mm bolt in order for you to remove your shift lever. Then you insert this with a notch towards the engine. Then you put your shift lever back on. And then let's just pretend for now that, you know, the bolt was in, right? So let's say the bolt was all the way in. So now you have to put your sprocket cover. That notch is for this fork that goes over the shifter shaft. But as you can see, this is what they mean by it being a pain in the ass. Because there's no way to, again, you have to remember that this shift lever, we'll pretend that it's already bolted down, right? And then you put this back in, there's no way. Even if I didn't have this Acerbis frame protector, there's no room. Because this is too long, there's no way to bend it. See? There's no way. There's no way for it to fit. You can't squeeze it in there. So that's what they mean by a pain in the ass. They said you have to loosen a bunch of stuff. I don't think so. If they mean like loosening the engine mount and moving it forward, that's ridiculous. Like there's no need to go that far. There are a couple of solutions. One, you change your shift lever to an aftermarket one. Like there are like the Zeta Revolver or their older version where they put the bolt this way from the rear. Remember, the orientation of the bolt doesn't matter as long as the bolt falls within the groove. So they have one that goes from the side, goes from the bottom. If you do that, then this will work, because what you can then do is put, or you never actually have to remove the sprocket cover. Once you have that, see how the fork is lined up? You just have to install this so that it's tilted a little bit towards the rear to match the angle of the valve cover. Not valve cover. I'm talking about the sprocket cover. Once you have that, then you can install your aftermarket shift lever and then install the bolt from the bottom or from the sides or whatever. So that's the problem I'm having. Luckily for me, tomorrow, the Zeta Revolver is coming in the mail. So I'm going to use that instead of this. And that should fix that problem for me. But that's what they meant by it's a pain in the ass. To me, it's not a pain in the ass. It's impossible. There's no way to install that. There's no way to put this back on with that thing there and the OEM shift lever. I don't know if it'll work with the CRF 300L, but the CRF 300L Rally won't. I don't think it'll work for the CRF 300L either. But yeah, that's all I wanted to report on. Now I know what the notch is for. It's to make room for that fork that belongs to the sprocket cover that rests on the shifter shaft. Yep, that's it. Just wanted to give an update on this part, and hopefully that saves the shifter shaft from bending. That's it. That's the shift saver. Not to knock them or anything, but I don't think it's worth the money. It's 15 bucks, and then I paid $15 more to expedite the shipping, which took maybe 9 days from Thailand to Texas. So 9 days, 15 bucks extra for 9 days. So I paid like $33.10 or something for that little thing to get here in 9 days, when I could have just driven to Home Depot, bought a stack of washers, and spent less than $2. And that would have been the nice, fancy stainless steel washers. I already have it, and you know, it's cool. I like it. It's just, I don't think it's worth 15 bucks. That's all. Thanks for watching. Peace.